Hey guys, it's Hatchet from Hatchet's Hooch. I'm up here today in Conley Springs, North Carolina, and we are at South Mtn Distilling Company. We're gonna go inside. I got some of my guys here, and Don, the owner, is gonna give us a tour. So enjoy. There we are, Matthew.
Howdy.
From Hatchet's Hooch. Johnson from Hatchet's Hooch. And here we have Don, the owner.
How's it going? Let's do a tour. I'm going to start off telling you a little bit about the South Mountains and the history of the South Mountains. My family settled in the South Mountains back in the late 1700s, right kind of in the heart of the South Mountains. And they came here, and they were here before the first gold rush. The gold rush in North Carolina started in 1826, 1829. It was more 1829 in the South Mountains. And the South Mountains they were one of the major producers of that gold. And my family, they found an easier way to get some of that gold by, distilling the spirits for the people that the gold rush brought to this area. Well, with the gold rush, a lot of people came to this area and settled, and the gold rush moved from here to Georgia out to California. My family stayed behind. Well, once the gold rush was done, a lot of the resources were depleted, like the animals. A lot of the trees in the area were taken down for mining and stuff. So it was a really hard life for them back then, especially in the mountain regions. But it's not just about my family; it's about a lot of families in Burke County, Rutherfordton, McDowell, Cleveland County. That's where the South Mountains all lays, and. Then there was the Civil War. The Civil War, that was, another thing that a lot of the moonshiners in the mountains in Burke County were commissioned from the Confederacy to make spirits for the war efforts, not only for drinking, but also wound care and stuff like that, and the governor of North Carolina was highly against it. The farmers in the county were highly against it because if you can only imagine, the farmers were your supermarkets back then. It wasn't like now where you got a food line or whatever on every corner where you go buy your groceries. You went to the farmer to buy your fresh produce, your animals, and stuff like that. If you didn't and if you didn't raise it yourself, you had to go find somebody that raised your food. Well, what a lot of the farmers used to do with their excess grain, they would get a distiller permit, and instead of selling their grain to the public for 20 cents a bushel, which is like 55 pounds, they would convert it into alcohol and get $2 a gallon. What made sense, but they still had to supply the food for the farmers. Oh, yeah. But the bar was built from my grandmother and grandfather's old barn. We reclaimed it. Me and the Doctor of Moonshine, we reclaimed it, tore it down. And then the metal behind the bar, that's the roof off of the barn. And then you can see all our little samples, our test samples that we did with our small still on the top shelves up there. And you can see there's a couple that have been taken out, and that was to make these. We got our bottle manufacturer asked us if we had any whiskeys in the bottles, and I didn't, so I had to steal some from up above to put in these two bottles to take pictures because they wanted to use our labels for their 2017 advertising campaign. And we're really proud of that. But
it's a very unique label. You don't see those.
We wanted to make it to where when you go into a bar or into the ABC stores, if you recognize one, you might try the other ones. Right. If you like one, hey, we've got something else we would like you to try. But let's go back here and do a little bit of the tour. And that's about the South Mountains. There's a lot of history. We got a lot of articles on the walls. We got a book that has a lot of the history of the South Mountains and the people that made it in the South Mountains. But right back here, we malt our own grain upstairs. We won't go up there because of the steps. We put white vinyl down. We actually malt our own grain here. What that is soaking the grains, letting them steep, you know, then letting them air out until they start what is called chitting. It's a little white tit on the end of it. And then we'll haul it upstairs, we'll spread it out on some burlap, and then we'll let it air out and start drying. And once it's sprouted, we'll turn on some fans and some heat, and it'll start drying out. And then we'll do that. And then we'll bring it back down here to our little grain mill room. We use all non-GMO grains. We use barley from Stanley County, and then our corn comes from down in Vale area, down towards what's the name of the town? Lawndale, down there. We even have a guy down there that is growing us some Hickory King white corn that we use a little bit of too. And we grind it all in our hammer mill right here, basically down to the consistency of a grit. Wow. Right here's some of the barley, malted barley. You can see that. We got our weights and everything right now. And then a little, like I was telling you before, on our Dignified that'll be coming out in 2018, we actually found an importer Irish peat that we smoke a certain percentage of it. Yeah.
That smells wonderful.
My gosh,
and that smoky smokiness will travel all the way through our distillation process. And you'll get that little smokiness.
Kind of almost a sweetness to it.
Yeah. This right here is our 1,000 gallons of chilled water that we store. We need the chilled water for our condensers for our still, and then also to crash cool our mashes. And that's what this piece of equipment right here is, and it's kind of a high-end piece for a distillery. It's called a tube and shell chiller. Where there's two reasons why we want our to crash cool our mashes. The first one is speed up the time that it takes to cool down, you know, before we pitch our yeast. Out in the woods, you can only imagine.
Oh yeah, it takes hours.
It takes a day or two for it to cool down to yeast pitching temperature. Well, you know, this will help speed that up. Second reason is to control what is fermenting our mash. So if we just left it out and let it sit there, we'd get wild yeast, wild bacteria, both of them will ferment. We want our specific yeast to do the fermentation.
It gives it other flavors.
Yeah, it does. It will.
That's what's separating you from the breweries.
Yeah, there's pretty much a closed top fermentation. We do open top. They have to control the bacteria. Yeah, they do. Bacteria. Yep, and then this is our 159 gallon mash tun. It's oil jacketed. It means it's got a 5-inch false bottom with oil in it. And then we got 3 10,000 watt heating elements that heats our water up.
Wow.
Heats our grain. And
it's a Cadillac right there.
Once we get it heated up, and once all the conversion from starch to sugar takes place, then we'll pump it through our tube and shell chiller, and then we'll pump it into our mash, into our fermenters. We got 4. We don't have anything going right now, guys. We're into the bottling mode this week, but we will be next week. And then this right here is our 200 gallon custom built still. We named it Old Brick Bessie after my grandma.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's a 3-plate column, 10-inch column. The 4th, Jim Schiltz out in Missouri, he's the one that built it for us. He's done a really good job, and it really produced some good quality product.
Beautiful, man.
And we don't throw the heat to it. We believe in letting the alcohol work itself. You know,
Awesome.
Sometimes you see on videos of the bubble caps just foaming. Ours will just roll. We don't put the heat to it.
Man, that's
and then we control it with our valve right here. We let our rum and our shine, we'll let it reflux for about an hour. Or on our whiskeys, because we have to control it to 160 degrees, we only do about 30 minutes to 45 minutes on the reflux of it, and then we'll start letting it come over, and it'll come out to parrot. You know, our rum and our shine, we'll get about 180 proof off of it. Our sinister, our dignified, probably about 160, 155. We try to maintain it.
Now that's one run.
Yeah, on our shine and our rum, we'll put about 140 gallons, 150 gallons in the still. We'll get probably around 12 to 15 gallons, depending on the sugar content that's in there. And our whiskeys, we'll get between 10 and 12 gallons of 160 proof liquor per run. And you can see right here, we got some heads. We make cuts. We do a 4-shot cut, and then we do a heads cut. We do an average of a 5% 4-shot cut, 5% heads cut. And then we do our center section is our hearts, and then our tails will be on the end. We usually get about a gallon and a half of tails on that. Our heads and our tails go back into our next batch. Our 4 shots, we're collecting a lot of it.
Yeah.
We'd like to find a way to get rid of them, but at this time, they're a good glass cleaner. That's about all they're good for right now. But right here's our bottling station, and kind of got us in the middle of our sinister bottling mode. We're waiting on some caps for our bottles, but we put it through a 2-stage filtration system. The first one's a carbon filtration, then we got another screen mesh filtration just to catch any little sediment that comes through. Then it goes through the bottler, then we cap it, manually label them, bottle them, and seal them, and we sign each one individual.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot when I seen that.
Yeah. And then we box them up, palletize them, ship them to Raleigh, and out the door. Yeah.
That'll let you know that you care about your product.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna
Still putting
sign
your
them,
name on it.
if you're gonna sign them, you better take care of it.
That's
That's
right.
right. Yeah. But it's been a fun process. It really has.
And you've been here since 2015?
We started build out February of 2016. Started the process of my paperwork and everything in 2015. That's where the 2015 came from. So yeah.
It took a while. Huh?
Oh yeah, it was about a 1.5-year process just for the paperwork.
Yeah, I read up on it.
Yeah. Just
Now what do you think you probably invested in just being okay with the government, you know, to be able to sell as a distillery?
Well, right now, probably close to 200,000 investment in it.
Man, that's serious.
That's what I was reading, that if you want to start a distilling company, you need about 250,000 just to get started.
Just to get going.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
and that's still, you're still taking a chance.
Oh, yeah, Lord, yeah.
Well, I mean, you got product that's got to age for a year or 2 years, and you don't have any income coming in.
That's right. That's exactly right. Them barrels are not cheap.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's why we hadn't got a
But
hold
that's
of
why we came out with the shine and the rum first, the 2 clears, to help offset those costs with aging the products. And I think it'll pay off as soon as we get our Sinister whiskey.
Well, that's coming out when?
The end of October. I think we're gonna have a release day of October 28th right here.
Oh, it's a Halloween liquor.
Yeah, it's Sinister.
awesome.
It's we're gonna play
That's
with
awesome.
it a little bit. We might have a costume party.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. We're all about some Halloween.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But yeah, let's go sample some more products.
All right, awesome. That sounds good. And these are all number 2 char?
That's so cool.
This is a heavy char right here, and then the others is just toasted right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then this right here is the last remnants of Jasper Triplets last still. You can see where the hatchet marks, where the revenuers
Got a hold
got
of
a hold of it.
Wow.
His son and his grandson drug it out of the creek. They found a rock up there that looked out of place. They lifted up the rock and found the old end arm under there and the old hoe that he used to mix his mashes up with. But they made the display and brought it down here. And we're keeping Jasper Shine alive.
And Chad Shipley is Jasper's grandson, right?
Grandson, yeah.
And
Jasper was a legendary moonshiner up in Wilkes County from a little place called Darby in Wilkes County. Yeah.
That's where some of the finest moonshine in the world's come out of.
That's what they say.
Wilkes County.
Well, there's actually records of where some of the Burke County distillers produced more moonshine than Wilkes County at times. I'm not saying they do all the time, but
Yeah.
I've seen records where at times it went back and forth. So South Mountains was a really notorious area of moonshine and whiskey as well. But they got the title Moonshine Capital. We call it Shine Country.
That's right. That's right. It's all about the same water, ain't it?
That's right. Yeah, right here's some old articles of some of the stuff that's going on in the South Mountains, murder in the mountains, and stuff like that. Y'all can look at.
Growing up in Alexander County, we always heard tales of Burke County and the crazy folk that live over here.
Well, it wasn't called Bloody Burke for nothing, that's for sure.
That's right.
They used to try to take our liquor away from us, so, you know, what do we have to do?
Now, your rum just came out recently,
The
right?
rum was the first one we came out with,
Oh,
and that's
okay.
what we're going to do a tasting of, is Table Rock rum. And
Now, Table Rock is a famous mountain here.
it is.
here in-
It's basically Burke County's signature mountain. Table Rock. It looks like a table. It's known worldwide for its, got a national park that a lot of people from all over the world come and hike. And everybody's welcome to come and do it. And you're welcome to try some Table Rock
fellas.
rum.
Thanks,
There
sir.
you go.
All right. Oh, it smells good.
You should get some
Smells real good.
caramel and
Yeah,
some
I just smelled
smokiness
that.
from the molasses on there.
That's awesome.
It smells good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see it. Oh, that's a lot different than any Caribbean rum.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Awesome, though.
You'll get that smokiness.
Oh, that
and the-
spice on it. On the end.
See, I like that.
And then the one y'all guys know of, Jasper Shine.
Old Jasper.
Yeah.
Dead soldiers going down there. And this is the one that
Y'all reviewed this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this is
this stuff's really
this is a fine product of what we have here in North Carolina. When we make moonshine out in the woods, I mean, this is right there on it. I mean, it's
like I said, we've tried a lot of store bought and never liked it.
yeah.
And this was the first one. That's why we're here.
That's what you want.
There's that corn, boy.
That corn, I love it.
Love it. Oh, I believe that one's a little smoother than the one we had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
It's
Well-
definitely cooler.
Yeah. Well, it's probably, we're cool, and it was 69 degrees.
Yeah, man, that's good.
What bottle did we get?
I didn't get that.
This one is batch 3.
See, we
Y'all
had
had
batch
batch
one.
Yeah, that was the first
Y'all
one.
had batch.
It seemed a little hotter.
Did it?
But once you put ice in it, it really
Oh, yeah.
cooled way down.
Oh,
But
yeah. It was a little hotter, but it did not have nowhere near as much of that barrel flavor as this
Right.
one did right here.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about because I'm sure that was in there.
Oh, each batch is going to be a little different.
Oh,
Every
definitely.
one of
Wow,
them.
man.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, we was on the first one.
It's a small batch, and that's the good thing about it is, one batch, you're
awesome.
gonna like it. You may even like the next batch even more. So, hey, don't stop. Keep on enjoying it.
You can always after that best one.
That's right. You need to
That
taste
perfect taste.
try them all. That's
right.
it, yeah.
all right, well, Don, we appreciate
Oh,
you
definitely.
bringing us up here and giving us a tour
Yep.
and trying some of your fine product.
Oh, I appreciate you guys
So,
stopping by.
Well, tell us the upcoming releases you got.
We got Sinister Whiskey, we're going to be releasing. It's 100 proof American corn whiskey. It's my family recipe, aged in oak cask. Gives it that nice golden color, and we're excited about it.
That's what's bottling now.
Then our dignified single malt, look for it next year sometime. We're trying to get the right flavor profile, so we want to put out a good product, and we don't want to put it out before it's, right. So it's going to be a single malt, 90 proof.
That's what we're looking forward to.
We don't
there.
believe in none of this candy water around here.
Amen, brother.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I did have a sign around here that I would have showed you guys. Said no BS. But yeah, that's cool.
All right, Johnson, what you think about South Mtn
Oh, I had
Distillery?
a blast up here. This stuff is, this whole store is laid out beautifully. If you ever come up here, and you can, they have a way where you can come through, I believe, actually can go through the whole brewing process with them.
Yeah, we got a distilling experience.
Yeah, the whole
You get a
experience.
hands-on distilling experience. We'll have a fermentation ready. We'll make a mash. We'll put the fermentation that's ready in the still. We'll grind a little grain. We'll make the mash, put it in the fermenter. We'll distill the fermentation that was ready, and then at the end of the day, we'll let you put your name on the bottle of liquor.
Nice.
And then it'll get distributed throughout the ABC stores. You can tell your friends, hey, go check it out and see my name's on that bottle.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Matthew, what do you think of the South Mtn Distilleries?
Y'all need to come on up here. Y'all need to visit this place. Get some of their garb, man. They got some awesome products out here.
You can, bring the wine up here.
Come out and see what they're doing. This is a gangbusters place, man. They got an awesome setup, and it's on point. Great products. Hit them in your ABC stores too.
Yeah, definitely, man. South Mtn Distilleries, it's true with the moonshine, what we have here in North Carolina. It tastes just like anything you get out in the woods. And like Matt and John said, this store is amazing. They got shirts, koozies, flask, barbecue sauces, molasses, honey, pickles, you name it. It's all locally grown. Come up here and get some.
I mean, I tell you right now, if you was to sample it, you can taste the difference in most of, like I said, on just the White Lightning alone. You won't find it that tastes like that in a store besides this. This is the first one we found. And if you step foot in here, you'll see just as much heart that's put into all this, much flavor in this as there is in that jar as soon as you buy it.
Yeah, I mean, I know that little 250-gallon still don't look like a lot, but it puts some good liquor out, that's for sure. But, yeah, get out, guys. Enjoy your local distilleries. And if you're local to us, come on out here. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Hatchets Hooch.